right. What is up, everybody? Barry Boys are back, baby. Steve, how we doing?
I'm doing great. I missed that theme song.
I
I
know,
hate that
right?
they don't use it anymore. It's such a good one.
I know. I missed the theme song in a loud font. And as I as I just told you too, we will not be monetizing this video. I'm telling you that right now. We will not be monetizing this video because we just took HBO's music. Also, that's a full song. There's lyrics to that song. So
There's lyrics.
yeah, there's lyrics, which I did not know until I illegally downloaded the video and then threw it up onto that. Also, I see our guy Sneeps in the chat. Sneeps is very excited for this show the whole time. If you are new, or even if you're listening in audio form after the fact, we're about to spoil the shit out of this. So if you haven't seen episode 3 of season 4 of Barry yet, just like pump the brakes, and then come back after. But dude, I'm excited to get into it. We were texting last night after, Steve. This is, top tier shit, right?
Bro, I knew it was gonna be fire because no cold open. It just started off with Barry. And I was like, this shit about to be crazy. I know it's gonna be crazy.
And it was one of those things too where I almost, did you watch Succession before it?
Yes.
I kind of like forgot. It just felt like I was watching a lot of stuff and there wasn't a lot of stuff happening. I was seeing a bunch of people talking about a bunch of different stuff. And then all of a sudden in Barry, like there's like a little line of speed, or I guess it'd be a bump of speed, line of speed, bump of speed. I don't know how speed works, but then bang, bang, stuff was happening. It got like really intense very quickly.
Yeah, I feel like there's just like it's just a funner show. And like I'm not a business savvy person, so like I have to do a lot of research to know what they're talking about in the Succession. But
yeah,
I know everything they're talking about on Barry.
So let's just we'll just kind of walk through it. So the scene opens up with we see a guy with a gun on top of a truck, and I was like, whoa, what's going on here?
That was a beautiful shot. That shit was beautiful. He loves that shot.
That whole scene, that whole episode tonight or last night was beautiful. I thought they had so many different cool shots, and we'll talk about a couple coming up. But so we like first see Hank and Cristobal. They got the operation up and running, and they're talking to their man Toro. Do you know who Toro is?
Come on, bro. Pan's Labyrinth, stop playing with me, man.
Did you know that right away?
No, I was high when I watched it, and then when I rewatched it, I was like, "Oh shit, that's crazy."
I saw it in something I read this morning. They were like, yeah, and Guillermo del Toro, and I was like, I'm sorry, what? And they named him Toro, which I think is hilarious. And I read this after he just like asked Bill Hader. He's like, hey man, I want to be in Barry.
That's not his first time doing that, bro. He's done that with It's Always Sunny. He was like, yeah, I love the show. Like, just put me on.
That's wild.
You gotta love it though.
Oh, he was great in it. He looked. I felt like I was watching some mafia-esque type thing with the way that they had that interaction with Hank. Also, can you imagine being? I forget the actor's name. Anthony something who plays Hank, and the dude who Michael something who plays Cristobal. Like they're just in a scene with Guillermo del Toro.
But I think the funniest bit with that scene is the podcast bit.
Oh my god, the podcast bit, which we'll get to, which plays off so much that like it hits so much harder at the end too. And that was so fun. The podcast bit was so fun, and just talking like through it felt like real complaints about podcasts too. It was like, you're talking about something that I feel like I need to see.
And he's like, yo, don't worry, bro. It's just the voice. It's not the face. It's not TikTok.
That was incredible. That really, like, once that scene got started, I was like, all right, like, buckle up. I'm ready. That was awesome. I still can't get over that. It was Guillermo del Toro. And that was really, we didn't see a ton of Hank in that episode, right? Like, we saw him there. And then I guess we can like fast forward to the combo that he had with Barry when Barry is alerted that, or not even alerted. Barry lies. He's saying that he finds out that Cousineau is talking to the press. So he wants him killed. And that, is that like the hardest truth that has been spoken in this show? What Hank says to him?
Yeah. I think it's like that's like when you're having like a messy breakup and you just gotta tell somebody about themselves. But that scene was insane though. Like they acted their ass off. Yeah. But also, shout out to Barry to be like, wait, I'm lying? No, you're fucking lying. Because that's ridiculous, dog.
Yeah. It was such a terrible comeback. It was such a terrible comeback. Also, you know what's so crazy? Whenever I think about scenes like that, coming from the improv stage, I can't imagine doing that scene without that person in front of me. You know what I mean? And like they were doing that into the phone, and I just can't imagine not like feeding off of the energy of the other performer in that moment. And like for them to be able to dial it up in the way that they did, both actors, because like Barry's, dude, Bill Hader's fucking crazy now, man. Like I don't even look at him the same. Like he is unhinged in this season.
He's crazy, but like Anthony, like NoHo Hank, his eyes in that scene, bro. It's like he's almost about to like cry, but he doesn't want to cry. And I was like, yo, this shit is wild.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. That is like a breakup where it was just like, you take, I love you, but you take and you take and you take. And I was like, man, that was so brutal. And you're right. Like there's no moment where Barry like receives that information. He's just kind of like, nah, you're lying.
He's on the next level of crazy because this dude's already planning without Sally saying yes, their life together. Like, yo, bro.
That was
you didn't even ask her. You should have called her before you called NoHo. Like what?
That was crazy. And so I guess to like dive in a little bit more to the episode too, there was kind of like 3 different storylines, right? So we've got like the Barry Hank thing happening. Fuchs is doing his own little thing where Fuchs is going through it, man. He's going through it, and like he wants to be mad. And then he sees, what was that clip? Was that clip from Dustin Hoffman? Rayman. It was Rayman.
True story. I don't know if anybody had this elective in high school. I had an elective called sports management, and we watched Rayman. I guess poker's, that's not poker they play blackjack, right?
Blackjack, yeah. I guess that's a stretch. That's a stretch.
That's a stretch.
That teacher was hungover.
Oh, he just dialed it in, bro. We watched like Hoop Dreams for like 7 days. Like he didn't give a damn.
I remember I took a course in college too. It was this like Friday class, and it was like most of the classes in college you met either twice a week for like an hour and 15 or 3 times a week for 45 minutes. But there was this one type of class you could take that was just once a week, and it was 3 hours. It was 12 to 3. And I took this like history class, and I straight up, this woman, Dr. Melanie Murphy, shout out Dr. Murphy. She played a movie every Friday. Like once and that was for like it was my senior year. We watched like 300 one week. We were doing European history, like modern European history. And we watched, no, not 300. What was the Brad Pitt one? Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Troy, yeah. We just like straight up watched Troy. And she was like, well, it's 3 hours. Like that was the justification for why we watched it. It was, I degree's a joke, man. Shout out Dr. Murphy though. It's a real one. Anyway, so right, the other plot line, I guess we should dive. Like, well, Fuchs, right? So he's watching that movie, and then he's like, okay, I miss Barry. But that's really all we see of Fuchs, right? Like we just kind of see him have that.
He tried to stop the hit though. Remember? He
was
like, oh my God.
And nobody like, shut up.
Yeah. Which would have saved so many people's lives.
Oh my God. I know. Well, let's do the Cousineau's storyline too, because that was fun, and I feel like you kind of called it last week. You were gonna we're about to see some real Jim Ma shit
because Cousineau doing too much. But Henry Winkler and Fred, was it Melamed, whatever it is? I could watch a show of just them just doing stupid shit. They're so fucking funny on scene, bro. Like every time they're in an episode together getting into some bullshit, it's so fucking funny to me. Like I don't know where Bill found him. I don't know if he was watching some old ass movie or something, or if he was watching A Serious Man, but God bless Bill for casting that dude.
Yo, that dude's good in everything too. Like every time he makes a cameo, I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. I love that dude. Yeah, I could watch them as well. I think that was a great call. I also, like, we were talking about things that were shot really well. I also thought that scene where they break into, so for those that don't know, they like that we early on in the episode. For those that don't know, I mean, you guys should watch the episode before we talk about this. But Cousineau is in is that the chief of police? Is that who he's talking with early on in that episode? Yes. So he's talking with the chief of police, somebody in law enforcement, and basically just being like, yeah, man, no, we've done a good job keeping a tight lid on this. Nobody knows anything. And you can see Cousineau starting to freak out. To get into the car, he lets his lawyer. That's his lawyer, right?
Yeah.
Lets his lawyer know what went down. An immediate car accident, which is great. Which it's moments like that I forget this is a comedy too.
But the funniest line though, when he's talking to the chief of police, he goes, "Yeah, we've done a great job protecting you, but Barry might be out. Kusino, do you own a gun? It's like, what, bro? How are you gonna be like, yeah, you're safe, but do you have a gun though?
That was great. That was great. But what I thought one of the coolest things, right? So then they decide they have to go either ruin the story of the reporter who we met last week from Vanity Fair who watched the one man show. And what I thought was so cool, so they keep the camera in, it's like in the house.
Yeah.
And so we kind of see it like happening around the camera instead of the camera following them, which I thought was so cool. I feel like I've never seen a shot like that.
So I thought they did like a steady cam, like it was like a dude walking. You feel what I'm saying? And then, but what I found out is they had like a dolly with a remote. So they just were outside and looking into a monitor and like using the remote to like move forward and back, which I was like, holy shit, that's insane.
That
I
is
didn't
crazy.
know you could do that with a fucking like Nintendo 64 controller.
Right?
Like, that's wild.
Yeah, that also, I'm seeing Buttervine in the chat. He's saying, I'm smoking weed. I don't know what this is about. We're talking about the show Barry on HBO. And then he said, we need to bring the entire 89 Cavs to Vegas. They're coming, baby. We're all going to be out there. Let's go.
Oh, I'm going to see you out there. My God.
There we go. Buttervine's making an international trip for Vegas. What about that?
I respect it.
But to go back to that scene, one of my favorite things that happened. So like, they make a ruckus, like they break in, they throw something like lawn furniture or something through the window. But then this like whole ruckus happens off camera that we don't really see. And then he's just like, oh, it's the kitchen. And then I thought that was such a great line, like that he needed to toss everything before he learned it was the kitchen. That's incredible. It was incredible.
It's the best line, bro. He kills it. And
I
love when his wife comes in, and then like Bill Hader loves that shot. It's like you're focusing on two people, but in the background, some crazy shit is going on, and you see the dude like throwing away the laptop.
Yeah, and like I guess to kind of pivot to the Sally storyline too, we kind of see a similar shot like that with Sally while she was teaching, right? Where because we got like a flashback to season 1 when Sally has like that meltdown when someone's like yelling at her on stage, and then she kind of brings that same energy to teaching. But I thought that what was so cool is her explaining to the class, being like, yes, this is how we break through. And then just seeing that, I don't know the actress's name who's playing that part, just like crying, like right behind her. I thought that was great.
That scene made me think of two things. First thing I thought of was like, that monologue is so much people I know. So, and I was just like, I feel you, girl. I feel you, girl. Going. Second one was, damn, I had an improv teacher that legit made someone cry. Not in that manner, but sort of, and was just like, yeah, you could do the Herald now. And I was like,
no, names. Who?
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, bro. That man is mildly successful, and I'm not saying his name. Also, every time he's seen me, mad love. Did he make someone cry? Yes, he did.
Oh, wow. Do they have a podcast now?
They might be.
All right, no.
They might. I know they're a reoccurring character on like a show, though.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, if you guys want to use that as the little hints.
I love that. I remember somebody didn't almost make me cry in an improv rehearsal, but they kept like needling me in a way where I was like, wow, I might quit. Like I might never do this again because this is make believe and who cares? You know what I mean? Like I was like, oh, that's so funny. I got to know. Speaking of improv, so in that improv people in that, I don't think this is true because I tried to look it up and I couldn't find it. I thought there was somebody from the UCB community as one of the extras in the acting class.
I know I don't know this person. I'm not gonna lie on wax and say I know this person. I've done like a drop-in practice group with a girl that said 3 lines. So if that's the person
No. It was a guy. I thought
you cut off.
My bad. My mic.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, I got shit.
No, my bad. No, I was gonna. I thought I saw. It's funny. I just said that person's name and my mic muted. I thought I saw Andy Bastillos. That was like sitting in the.
God.
I don't think it was him though, but I like stopped and paused it for a second.
See, now I watched it twice. Now I gotta watch it again.
Yeah,
I didn't see
but
it.
But one of the Easter eggs from that. Did you notice something about the people sitting in that acting class?
No.
So I didn't. I noticed this on the second time. When they pan and show everybody sitting in, like, after that moment happens where she like yells and she's like, "Why everybody take 5?" and you kind of like see everybody sitting. The dude she killed is in the back row.
Whoa. Okay, that's crazy.
Right? I didn't see that the first time. And then somebody mentioned an Easter egg and I was like, all right, I got to go back and see it. And I like paused it and just like looked at it for a few minutes. It took me a while to figure it out. Like, it's definitely not clear. But then I remembered, like, that person makes an appearance in the first episode too, right? On the plane. Isn't that who she sees? Yeah.
The nails, yeah.
Yeah. So that was wild.
I gotta check for that's nuts. Shout out Bill Hader, man.
Oh, dude, it's so good. This show's so good. We haven't even gotten to like the good stuff yet either. I mean, this is all like window dressing for. I mean, do you want to take us through that last scene? Like the last that last scene? Yeah.
Okay, so my man Barry is about to get the deal ready for the FBI. So he's talking to the FBI, and the main FBI agent is actually the dude from Veep, who's super funny. I recently found out. I did not know this. He's a UCB dude. Does a lot of improv. Had no idea.
Yeah, he was like improv legend, improv guru.
Oh, I never knew. He's so funny on Veep. I had no idea.
Yeah.
So they're talking, right? They're trying to get the deal, and basically, what I got from the scene was the guy was saying, although you're going to snitch, your life might not be safe. And when he brings up Sally, Barry brings up Sally, he kind of just brushes Sally off like, yeah, sure, she'll join you, I guess. And right as he's about to snitch, you just see Fred Armisen sweating. Like his eyes are like bugged out and he's sweating. And Barry's like, why is this guy here? And automatically he knew this guy's trying to kill me.
Dude, it almost took me out of it, but in a joyful way. How happy were you when you saw like the camera pans and it's just Fred Armisen?
Bro, I was on my couch. I said, my son. I was like, holy shit. I did not expect him ever to be on this show.
It was so funny. It was such a funny cut to. It was great.
And I felt like he sold it. Like he looked terrified. And he's telling all of the agents, like, no, this guy's here to kill me. And they're like, no, that's actually agent blah, 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 or whatever. And then he takes out a gadget, which is the greatest callback to the podcast. And it just fucks up. And he blows up his
such a good callback.
Bro, it was so funny.
Also, the voice that he chose for that character too is fucking crazy.
It's like, what accent is that, bro? That could be any accent. Like, it was crazy. But then after it blows up, a dude was like in the, like, I guess the air vent, or I don't know what the. Yeah, Chewy, the other podcast host, but he had a silencer, so he's over here trying to like not look at Barry but shoot him, and he shoots all of the agents. Barry rolls, uses a trash can to cover the bullets, grabs a gun, and then shoots him. And then at that moment, everybody in the fucking jail is like, what's going on? They're running around. Then I guess the character they introduced might be like the head of the jail. I don't know who he is.
Yeah, I thought he was the warden or something like that. I'm blanking on his name. He's in everything. I feel like we've seen him.
I read that he's best friends with Stephen Root. Like, that's really his bestie. They were both in what you call that? Office Space, bro.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So he was just like, yo, bro, if you're really close to Bill, let me get my shit off. Tell him to cast me, bro. What's going on?
Wait, this just clocked for me right now. I'm so embarrassed. Stephen Root is Milton, huh? In Office Space.
I've never seen it. My brother's obsessed, but I've never seen it.
Oh my God, I can't believe I didn't know that.
See, when I first started watching Barry, I thought he was just like a new person. And my brother was dead ass like, nah, he's from Office Space. And I was just like, bro, I've never seen Office Space.
Wow. He won't win an Emmy for this or anything, but he's awesome. Like I feel like he acts his balls off in every one of these episodes.
This is my hot take. Somebody send this to Bill Hader. The Emmys got to let them sweep. They got to let them sweep. Because it's the final season. If you're going to give it to fucking Schitt's Creek, give it to my man. Give it. Oh, we talking Sally. We talking Anthony. Well, no whole Hank. We talking the whole fucking everybody getting that shit, bro. We gotta stop playing with them. Stop playing with them.
I know. I'm with you. I'm with you. Just let it happen.
Yeah.
And like, hopefully they just consider Succession a drama and they don't have to compete.
I mean, they're going crazy too.
Yeah. I know.
Let's be for real. They're going crazy too.
But Hader has to win some directing stuff. Like this is like, oh man, this episode was so good. The way that it climaxed in that moment, in that scene where like everything just happens so fast. And like to see like when the thing explodes, right? That the seal or the trash, whatever that big metal thing, you see that like fall from the wall.
Yep.
And like you just like Barry clocks and is like, oh, I'm gonna need this. Like for it all to just happen so fast in the way that it did. And just like the pacing of the entire episode, and because of like the tone that it created leading up to that, it just like, I don't know, there's something about a silencing gun that goes off too, which is like more impactful for like the viewing experience than if like a loud gun went off. Because it's just kind of, yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it was nuts. And now, so there's like one more thing about the episode I want to talk about, but I guess like jumping off from here, do you think like, is Barry out of jail now? Because it leaves with the warden coming in, and then like Barry's gone.
This is what I think is gonna happen. I think he's gone, and I think it's a war.
Yeah,
he's gonna go after NoHo, but NoHo is in a predicament because the homie from his hood is like, yo, bro, if you don't do business with us, you're fucked. I thought the dude died. I don't know about you.
I thought he was dead too. I thought he was seeing a ghost.
Bro, I was like, yo, didn't he blow up with the other motherfuckers? Like, what?
I swear to God, when he took his helmet off, I thought he was going to have a huge gash in his head.
Yeah.
And it was going to be like, you know what I mean? Like, what are you like, oh, this guy's dead. He's not alive.
I was like, how the fuck?
Yeah.
Didn't they blow the whole shit up? Well, I guess he drove off.
He was the one that got away, I guess. Like he was the one because
he was the one that sorry for the 89 Cat fans. If you thought I made this up, I took it from Barry. But he was the one that was like, damn, NoHo, this is a crazy shit time show, and it just left.
Yeah.
So I guess he survived when he left. I could have swore they shot his car or something. But.
Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah, I totally forgot about that wrinkle too. So now NoHo. So do you think? I guess actually, before we do that, the last thing that we needed to talk about too is just kind of how it wraps up with the reporter. So like the reporter goes after the reporter talks to Barry in prison for a second, and Barry again loses his goddamn mind. He then goes to talk to Jim Moss, and then I love that they didn't show us what happened with Jim and the reporter. Because we know Jim's like, hey, why don't you come into my garage where we've been before a couple of times? And then the next time we see Jim again before we see the reporter. And he's just rinsing out his trunk. I've never seen that before in my life.
When I seen that, I looked at my girlfriend and I was like, I don't like that. No. I don't want to know what happened. I don't like that. Why are you washing your trunk, bro?
I also didn't get the sense that it was like a metal trunk. Like I imagined it was like not carpeting, but it was like, you know, I was like, I don't think you're supposed to just wet that.
Yeah, bro. I hated that. I hated that so much.
And so Kusino shows up and clearly is scared shitless. But then we see the reporter who's with his wife again and his editor, I believe. And the dude is just speaking German.
Yeah. And he replaced the Skittles with the gummy bears. Got him.
All day long today. It was like, Gummy Bear?
Gummy Bear?
That actor, God. I know that actor from, I think we talked about it last week, the Mad Men. He was like the Chip guy. So I learned today through like you guys should listen to the Bill Hader. Bill Hader does the Ringer podcast. I think it's like the Prestige TV. I think it's called. I don't know what it's called, but and he talks about it after. That actor learned German for this. Like I just assumed he spoke German and they worked it in. No, it was already written to just like talk German, and he learned German for that role to like do that.
Hey man, shout out my man, because that to me was the funniest. Because I was just first I thought he was speaking gibberish, but when he because he says the first line in German to his wife, and then he kind of looks at the editor, and then he's like speaking, and I'm like, yo, what did they do to him? And he's dirty, he's like filthy as shit, like.
Yeah, and it's weird because we kind of do think that Jim is like has like morals, right, or ethics, right? Because he feels like he does everything by the book, and like yes, he's intimidating and scary, but not to the point that you would think he would do harm, right? Or at least that's how I got. He's just like this intimidating, almost like fatherly presence. But I think I was wrong. I think he can do harm.
I just want to see what he's gonna do with Kusino. And I think somehow they're gonna try to tie him into the war too. Because if he hears Barry's out, shit, it's not gonna be looking good for Berkman. You know
I
what
know. I mean, this steps on a little bit of like we do that segment of who we think is going to die next, but I'm gonna throw mine out there. I think he's next. I actually think it's Jim.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think so because they're building him up to be this like untouchable guy where everybody else feels more vulnerable. You know what I mean? Like Barry feels vulnerable right now. Fuchs feels vulnerable. Sally, Kusno, everybody feels vulnerable. Even NoHo Hank and Crystal Ball now. And I feel like this guy feels untouchable. And I kind of think he's like the next one that goes down.
It's a good take, man. That's a good take. I'm thinking Kusino dies next. That's what I'm thinking. But you feel me? They might do the little Brian Cox, leave him dead early. You feel me?
Yeah.
So
dude, I like that take too because it is the last season. Like, so everybody is on the table. Like, if this was season 2, I'd be like, you're not going to kill Henry Winkler. Like, Henry Winkler's going to hang.
There's one person I know that if they're gonna kill him, it's gonna be like 7 or 8, and that's NoHo. Because it's like, yo, bro, even like every time you hear like Bill Hader talk about him on like a podcast or interview, he just loves that dude. So it's like you're not gonna let him die early. Like we know NoHo's safe, but
I'll probably stop watching. Like if it happens like next episode, we're not doing it. Like I'll be so mad. I'll be so mad if it's that.
But I do have a question about the part in the episode. So you remember how she broke the girl down, and then she was talking about, oh, I got a role, but it's one scene and blah 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 blah, and help me with it. Do you think she's doing like a Lifetime, a true crime reenactment of like her life?
No. Oh, I didn't even think that. I was just thinking, I was thinking like the way that she was just like brought up. I was thinking more that Sally would be triggered by something like that, but you're saying it's like of Sally.
Yeah, like you know when like there's like crazy or that's a bad example. Maybe like Law and Order or the week of the case of the week episode.
It's like ripped from the headlines.
Yeah, so I'm just like, why would you specifically go to her class for her to specifically teach you if you know her background? So in my mind, I was just like, is she doing like a Law and Order?
Yeah, well, especially too because it's not like Sally's known for being a great teacher. It's not like she's been teaching for a while, right? This is like, from what I can tell, her first class. So why would you like seek this person out to like mentor you when, you know? Yeah, that's a great take. Hall of Fame take right there, Steve.
Thank you. I'm trying. I'm just here for the roller coaster ride as well. Wherever it goes, it means I'm gonna trust Bill Hader on the vision. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because he's killing it right now.
I wanted to go back to the NoHo Hank thing. Do you think this, like the introduction of, is he Turkish? No, what is he?
Oh my God!
Why am I blanking on?
I'm blanking on it too. It's something crazy.
Chechen.
Yeah, there we go.
Do you think the introduction of them again, the Chechens, is that it's like a thread to kind of bring Barry and Hank back together to like work together?
Ooh, I am not gonna lie. I would like that.
I would
like that a lot.
I keep going back and forth of like, oh, that would be like a nice way to bring them back together so we can like have our moment with them before this is over. But I also think there's like nothing about this show that is supposed to be nice.
Yeah, I think where he's heading is like, what is it? How do you say nihilism? It's like it's like hurt people, and they gotta like be together with hurt people. Like I think something's gonna happen with Sally, and they're gonna like team up, and they're gonna like have a moment together because no one is enjoying her company, her family, her class. So it's like they're kind of, both of those characters are kind of in the same like realm because nobody's enjoying Barry unless you're Futures, who's like off and on every other episode. So it's like, I think that's what he's trying to like hone in like as a theme.
Yeah.
Because there's more people like that than normal people. You feel me?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. I'm hopeful we do get some of those good moments. It does feel like it's just going to keep, for lack of a better term, Breaking Bad, right? Where it's just Like no one's had a good moment in over a year, right? No, we haven't walked away from one episode being like, they seem to have a good head on their shoulders.
Hey, man. Hey.
I think I mean that's most of this past week's episode, right? I think we hit most of the stuff. Was there anything? Oh, go ahead.
I thought it was cool that they used the Rain Man music at the end. Also, the last line from the dude, "Where is Berkman?" I was like, damn. That's one thing we gotta give Bill. That's one thing. He's mastered the last line post credits. Like he's mastered even season 2 when it's like Fuchsia's whispering in like Kusino's ear, like Berkman did this, and it's like, damn, we gotta wait a whole year to find out what happened, bro. Like,
dude, I know we said this last week on the show, like, or I think you said this actually, that like the next thing he's doing is some like big time movie, right? Like it's gonna be, and you can just tell, like, because he's figured out everything. Just feels very cinematic with what he does, you know?
Yeah.
It does. Yeah, you're right. He has mastered that.
I think what's cool is like I looked up his movie. It's supposed to be a horror movie, but it's written with a staff writer, Barry. Then I did my little research, Googled him. Yo, it's his best friend, like from Oklahoma.
That's
and
crazy.
His first writing job, bro, was Documentary Now.
Dude,
that's so, we need more white boys like Bill Hader, man.
Yeah, that's what you just gotta be nice to people, I think, and then you just hope that they remember you. And I mean, listen, I'm still rooting for my man Teo Yang for that reason. Like, let's go, Teo. I'm waiting for you.
Super funny dude, crazy dude.
Teo's the best. Teo's the best. But yeah, I joke about that all the time. Like, I'm waiting for my friends to make it. All right, let's so we already like cheated a little bit, did our next death, but we were texting about this and I'm excited about who do we got for our MVPs of the week.
You know what, man, I'm gonna say Fred Armisen because he had 3 lines in not English and he killed it. I would say just his face, like that shit was great. And remember when they found him, bro, and he's crying or whatever.
Hey, Chewie! I actually want to ask something about this. So when they're talking about the podcast early on, and they were like, "Oh, aren't they going to know who it is?" And so that made me think that the plan was for them to kill Barry, but also get away with it. How are they getting away with it in that setup? Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if I've been watching too much Mafia or if I've been like on some like the people I know, but I think they was just gonna pop him and just keep it moving.
Right, but like all those agents were right there. So you mean just like pop?
So they were gonna once again, I do not do activities like this. You would pop Barry and then keep it moving, and they pop the agents, and then you leave.
Okay.
I would assume.
Listen, I don't want to put a flaw in their plan. I'm glad we get to see Fred Armisen, but if you take Fred out of that equation, you could just have the guy in the ceiling pop everybody. Like, I don't know why we needed Fred, because that dude was way more efficient and effective than Fred was.
You know what, man? I'm gonna play the Tarantino card. He just wants some cool shit.
Yeah,
he wants some cool shit. If you watch any legendary scene by Tarantino, you'll be like, yo, bro, they didn't have to do all of this shit. It's because it's cool. You know what I mean? Like Inglourious Basterds, that bar scene, family, he could have just shot Michael Fassbender. He didn't need a fucking monologue, get a beer, play a card game. Like, you know what I mean?
It's true. It's true. I just was kept. I was like, there was no way, there was no world in which we were going to get another episode of that podcast. You were right though. That is like a Hall of Fame callback, like the busted gadget there at the end after NoHo Hank being like, none of these gadgets ever work. That was chef kiss stuff.
Yeah,
it was so good. All right, so that was your MVP. That was a great MVP. Fred Armisen was the best, and it was like perfect. We're not going to get any more Fred, right? You get a little dash of Fred, and that was it. Mine is, I already talked about it, but mine is the reporter for Vanity Fair. That guy has barely been in the show and just throwing fucking heat, man. Just heat. I was listening to Bill Hader too, and he said in that line that he improvised a line in the conversation between Barry and him in the prison when they were like, oh, he's like, oh, you talked to Kusino? And he was like, For 3 hours, yeah, or something like that. But like the way that he like added the 3-hour bit, but he was so great, man. And like he has this kind of like almost like boyish excitement up until like even when he's at Jim's at his door, and he's like, "Oh, you talked to Cousteau?" And he's like, "Yeah." Or like Ed Barry or something like that. And then he was like, "Let's talk in my garage." Like to go from that to where we see him at the end speaking German, and like I doubt we see him again either. And just for him to come in for like an episode and a half, just like throwing 90 miles an hour is just great.
I love the way he ate the like. I never seen someone eat like a Skittle so properly. It's like so funny,
right? I've never seen anyone eat a Skittle that wasn't, first of all, Skittles. Like I've never seen any psychopath eat one at a time. It's usually like a handful of Skittles. Like to one at a time is wild.
Yo, that's a fact. I've never seen someone eat just one, bro.
That's nuts.
That's crazy. That shit is crazy. That shit is crazy.
All right. I think that's it. Any other Barry takes we're gonna get out before episode 4?
I'm just hoping episode 4 is as crazy as the third one. I'm gonna go say right now, out of the 3 we've seen, the third one is the craziest. Yeah. First 2 was crazy, but the third one's the craziest.
I think the first 2 did like a great job setting up for all the nutso stuff. I feel like the Band-Aid's been ripped off and it's just going to be like drinking water through a fire hose the rest of the way. Like it's just going to be, it's going to be insane. I'm excited though. I know, again, I love Succession and I enjoy it. And maybe it's because Succession is so long and drawn out and it's just like a lot of people talking to then go to Barry right after that, knowing it's half as long. It's just like insanity watching that right after, but it's been so good.
Yeah, shout out HBO, man. Shout out HBO.
Yeah, shout out HBO. Shout out and listen, HBO, if you need a podcast to follow the show on HBO, like just hit us up.
You know what I'm saying?
Barry Boys, baby.
Yeah.
And then it would be okay for us to play the theme song at the start and end of each episode. All right, I think we'll call it there so people can go watch Bucks Heat. We'll be back next Monday. We'll do it again. We'll probably see us later this week with some 89 Cavs action too.
Hell of a motherfucking yeah.
But the Barry Boys will be back next week. All right, wait, who did you say was going to die again? Who's next up?
I think it's Cousteau.
Cousteau, that's right. Yeah. So Cousteau and Jim, that's who we had. All right, we'll grade ourselves next week. All right, for Steve, myself, we out.